Hi everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to extract the pigments from the leaf samples that you froze. To start, you want to label and wrap 2 sets of 8 test tubes. One set is for the unfiltered pigment extract and one set is for the filtered pigment extract. For this demonstration, I'm just going to do 1 sample. You'll have 8 samples to do, but I'm just doing 1 sample. And so here I've got highlight tube number 1. I've labeled it A for the unfiltered extract, and highlight again tube 1, but I've labeled it B for the filtered extract. And I've already taken the top off of this one. So you want to get your samples that you froze and put them on dry ice. So here I've got my dry ice container. I've got my samples here in the back on dry ice. I've made a little well in the dry ice at the front here, and I'm going to put my mortar in it to cool it off. And I'm just going to grab a few cubes of the dry ice to put into the mortar to help cool it faster. And you want to leave it in there for about 30 seconds or so. And while you're waiting for that to cool, you can get your first tube ready. So I've got my tube A here for the unfiltered extract. I've pulled my cap off, and I'm going to just get it ready with the funnel. So after 30 seconds, you want to dump the dry ice out of your mortar and take your pipetter. This one is already preset to 1 milliliter, and you want to add 2 milliliters of 80% acetone to your mortar. So that's 1. And 2. Make sure you cap your 80% acetone because it can evaporate fairly quickly. Now you want to add a tipful of your spatula. This is the spatula. You want just to add just a tipful of sodium bicarbonate to the mortar with the acetone. And again, cap that back up. Now you want to take your first leaf sample and open it and just quickly transfer your frozen leaf tissue from the tube. Make sure you get all of it into your mortar, and this can be discarded. Take your pestle and you want to grind up your leaf sample as best you can. You're looking for a coarse slurry. So right now you can still see really large pieces of leaves. So you have to grind it longer. If you find the leaves are getting stuck on the sides of the mortar, just push them back down. Oops, watch out for the styrofoam. Try not to get styrofoam in your sample. So be careful when you're doing this. So just take the styrofoam out. Okay. So just grind until you get a coarse slurry. So you can see now I've ground it and it's a coarse slurry. There's no large or small pieces of leaves left. So it's ready for the next phase. So we'll leave that right now, and we're going to add another 2 milliliters of acetone to the mortar. So you can use this to wash the pestle off. So just wash that off, put that down, and you can use another mill just to wash down the sides of your mortar. I'm not going to cap that just yet because we'll be needing some more. You could swirl this a little bit and then pour it into your tube. Oh, I think there's a piece of styrofoam in there, but that's okay. It'll get filtered out in the next processing stage. So with your mortar, you can take your acetone, and you can use another mill or two of acetone to wash it wash your mortar over the funnel, and you might find that your mortar is rather cold. So I'm just going to wash. So you can see there's quite a bit. Okay, this is rather cold. If you're finding the mortar's really cold, you can try holding it with some paper towel or work quickly. So there's, okay. So that's washed off. You can put this down. So now you want to use another 1/2 milliliter to rinse the funnel. So some of the pipetters will have locks on them. So this one has a lock. You want to spin it to the unlock position, and you want to twirl this knob until you get a 1/2 mil reading. So this is what it looks like. It'll be 050 is your 1/2 milliliter. Turn your lock back on, and you can take up 1/2 mil and then just rinse off your funnel. Just cap this back up. Take your funnel out, and you want to cap your tube. Whoops. Cap your tube, and now you want to put it on ice in the dark for at least 10 minutes. Now, some of these ice containers have lids that are attached. You might find they're a bit hard to open, so if you want, you can just leave it ajar because your tube is wrapped in foil and it will be in the dark, so no need to worry about that, or no need to worry about closing this completely. So you want to set that on ice for at least 10 minutes. And after the first 5 minutes, you want to take it out and vortex it and put it back on the ice for the remaining 5 minutes. While you're waiting for your sample to sit on ice for 5 minutes before you vortex it, you can take your mortar to the sink to wash it out because you don't want any residue from your first sample in there. Or you can also try rinsing it out with your acetone wash bottle into your acetone waste beaker. Actually, this works pretty well, so you could try this. So now your mortar is clean, and so you could just dry it off with a paper towel. And you can put it back on the dry ice for the next sample, and you can also make sure that your pestle is clean as well. And you can also give your funnel a good rinsing. You can also start processing your next sample while you're waiting. So as you can see, your first sample, or your sample, has been on ice for about 5 minutes now. So you want to take it out. You can clean off any ice. And then you want to just give it a quick vortex. Whoop, you could turn that up. Give it a quick vortex for about 3 seconds. And then take it, put it back on ice for the remainder of the time. Once your 10 minutes is up, your unfiltered sample is ready to be filtered. So before you take it off ice, you can get your graduated cylinder ready with your clean funnel. Take your filter paper, and you just want to fold it into, I think 1/8 is good, so just fold it 1/4, 1/8, and then you can just fit it into your funnel like that. So you'll find it won't really stay right away, but that's okay. As soon as it gets wet, it will stay. So you can take your sample off the ice, and you can quickly give it a quick vortexing. You can remove the lid. So you want to hold your filter paper in place, and then just quickly pour your sample into the filter paper. And you can see, and just let it drip through. So while it's doing that, you can also rinse out your test tube with a milliliter of 80% acetone. Oh, wait. We had this set to 0.5 milliliter, so unlock it, set it back to 1 milliliter. I almost forgot to do that, and lock it back up. Okay, we'll take a mil, oops, and we'll just wash the sides of the tube, and we'll pour that in as well. And we're done with that tube. So you can see this is almost finished dripping, so just let it finish. So it's just about finished filtering through the filter paper now. You can take another milliliter of acetone, and you could try washing your filter paper. I touched the filter paper. Let's get a new tip. And the volume we're aiming for is 10 milliliters. So if you like, you can also use more than just 1 mil. You can use a second mil to try and wash some of that pigment off your filter paper. And let it filter through. You could take another milliliter of acetone, and you want to rinse your funnel. Okay. So now your pigment's in the graduated cylinder, and you want to top it up to 10 milliliters. So take more acetone, and you can just carefully top it up to the 10 milliliter mark. Okay, so now we're at 10 milliliters. Any extra acetone in your pipette tip can just be discarded in your waste container. Cap that. And now you want to put your filtered extract into your filtered tube. So I've got highlight tube number 1, tube B for the filtered extract. So we'll cap that, put that on ice. And now that's going to be ready for reading in the spectrophotometer. So you want to repeat this for all your remaining samples. And what you can do with your 10 milliliter cylinder, again, take your wash bottle of acetone, and you can rinse it out. So make sure you rinse all the sides. And you can dry it with some paper towel. Just gently tap out any excess acetone, and then let it air dry for the next sample.